What is happening, fishers, and welcome to
Throwback Thursday.
So this evening, Don, I see we're going to look at some things that take me back to my childhood. I know the guys still use them nowadays, but I did play with one or two of these in my early years.
They're an interesting thing because they're a dinosaur, but they're still a current dinosaur.
Yeah.
And the KP reel is very much a South African heritage product.
Oh, yes.
Kind of like we did last year with the Pen 49. I was right.
Oh, you were right.
Yeah, me backs. Yeah, me backs. Okay.
Fair's fair.
Okay, so KP, originally known as Scarboroughs, I think.
Yeah, I think it's still known as Scarboroughs today.
Yeah, but the really cool video online that shows the factory and how the guys make these. Okay. One of the other guys shot it on YouTube a while back, years back, and it shows how they make these reels. They're made out of a Bakelite type spool. In a mold, heat, trim the edges off.
Popped out.
A lot of hand finishing on them as well.
Sanded off and smoothed out.
Stunning product. In parts of South Africa, very specialist in its uses.
Yeah. And
got a massive following. The guys who enjoy these things love them.
Great.
So, do we start from the biggest and work our way down? I think maybe
we can. Let's start with the biggest.
Okay, the biggest I haven't got here, guys. These things go up to an 11-inch. Now, to me, an 11-inch KP is almost like something I'd roll up a hosepipe with.
Yeah, that's a
bit of an overkill.
That's a big diameter. Eh?
That's a big. You got to have Popeye arms to wind one of those things. Okay, but typically the guys fishing in our border region here, down as far as Port Elizabeth and up into KZN, on the deep sea boats, this is the go-to reel for bottom fishing. 8 and 9 inch, the most common sizes.
Correct.
Matching typically with about a 7, 8 foot rod. Yeah. Decent boat rod, sling a bit of backbone. You choose your weight class there according to what you're fishing. Why this design is so cool is it's just so simple.
Yeah.
You know, you've got one shaft and you can drop down, hit the bottom, couple of winds up, you know where you are. Once you hook a decent fish, you're typically just holding. Yeah. Unless he's a real monster. Yeah. And you got enough torque because of the diameter there to bring up most fish quite easily. Quite a range of them. Should we maybe just dive into that first?
Yeah, let's have a look there.
Okay.
That's a 9-inch there.
This is a 9-inch. The technical word for this is a thumb screw. Some guys have the false energy. They think it's a drag. This is not a fighting drag to fight a big copper on, guys. For a lot of beginners, they find the KPs are daunting.
Yeah, they're quite free running. If you just have a demonstrate here for you quickly to get my fingers out the way.
They spin.
Wait, let me just do this rather.
Don't let the knuckles. Yeah, they spin. So you can visualize if you're sitting there, beer in hand, and you've forgotten to hold your handle.
And something takes off.
And something big gets
You're going to have a bird's nest of
And if these handles are spinning, you don't want to get your hand into there too quickly in that. You can break fingers and that.
We'll get your story about that just now.
Quite simply. So the idea of this is to help the beginner kind of guys to give a bit of resistance. Yeah. Maybe your starting position as soon as you set a hook, just make it more manageable.
Great.
And for a lot of guys, but I'll be honest, the serious fishermen just bypass that totally.
Great, yeah.
They're also available in 2 different finishes, or 4 different finishes if you think about it. But the solid black here, which is pure Bakelite. Then the deluxe, that's the standard black, and you got your deluxe version, which has an extra
wooden finish.
Wooden look finish.
Yeah. I don't know if it's a veneer or wood. I think it looks like actually wood. It actually looks like, no, it's wood.
It's wood.
It's wood, yeah. Laminated on.
Possibly advantages of that, just looking at it, maybe a little more spooning capability.
Hands,
it hasn't quite got that ridge there.
Also, aesthetically, it looks a bit better.
Aesthetically looks a bit bigger, but maybe if we're going to be palming and we're worth extra, it looks a little smarter though. But cool thing. The smaller size ones here as well, guys, you can upgrade the knobs to the larger size ones as well. Bulmoria, we do stock them.
With more of a power knob.
Yeah, I think everyone likes the bigger knob, and I'll just get all bad on that one. Okay, then these are the solid designs. You see a nice solid design there, guys. Then you got your spoke design. Spoke obviously making it a little bit lighter.
Yeah.
Haven't any negatives as far as weakness goes. It's still quite as strong. And these are available in a range of sizes from the big boy there down to the mini-me's. Yeah. Okay. KP, so far we've spoken about deep sea. I'm going deep sea. Let's just finish off the deep sea side of things, then we'll get to the fun part. Okay, so deep sea, we're typically running braid on these.
Correct.
The guys are often loading 600 meters of braid. Often just straight braid and a little bit of mono on the end.
Correct.
The idea is to cut through the current.
The thinner diameter of the braid is going to stop you a bit more resistance.
Further out on our shore on our South African coastline, the currents run at between 20 and 40 kilometers an hour.
Yeah,
they run pretty fast. The guys are using like 16, 20 ounce, even 28 ounce sinkers to get their baits down to the bottom, particularly in deeper water. So that's where that braid, and we're not talking about 30 pounds here. We're talking about like 50, 80 pound
braid,
proper stuff, decently strong. The very similar braids, the guys who have tried them, thinking it cuts through the current better. Ironically, your little Toby fish, your puffer fish, which we all hate,
they bite through it.
They blame them coming on the top and biting the thing, which is crazy. But apparently puffers got sharp. But the puffers that get deep sea or a lot larger.
The puffers off the rocks, they bite through your 0.45 now and again.
Yeah, I've never had it, but I mean, I try not to catch them too often. So, okay, so deep sea, cool like that. A bit of mono, even if it's just a leader.
Yeah.
It handles braid perfectly fine.
100%, yeah.
Okay. Fish fighting ability. You want to tell us a fishing story on your KP? You've been deep sea.
Okay, so I went deep sea one day.
With one of those legs?
No, he was about, sorry guys, myself and KPs, we haven't fished them much. I fished them
in a long time.
Probably about that size. I think what's about a 7-inch or something like that.
Okay.
So we're going to do some light bottom fishing. 3 of us on the boat. First mate dropped a whole sardine down or pilchard down. By some fluke, there was a school of small tuna, like 20, 25 kilo tuna. Picked him up on the drop. He decided with this reel about 300 times faster than that, to put his thumb in, broken thumb. 2 or 3 seconds afterwards, second mate dropped. He was smart enough not to try to grab the reel. He palmed it. I don't know if they call them rollaway tracks or whatever. But I saw 2 blisters being formed in his hand in about 3 or 4 seconds. So me being the last, I was able to get a little cloth from the side of the boat. I wetted and I dropped. Exact same thing happened. The tuna picked us up. Ran, I know Don was mentioning earlier that you see smoke come out of the cloth. Smoke come out of the cloth.
Yeah.
But we managed, I think we each got about 3 or 4 tuna that day on a KP.
Yeah, well done.
I don't say I ever want to catch a tuna on a KP in my life again.
No, I can go there.
No, it was absolute chaos.
Okay, I've got a few fishing stories, so I hope you guys can give me a little bit of leeway on this one. First one was about a year back. One of our old timers, some of these deep sea guys, they've got so much experience. Yeah. And one of these guys, we were talking about adrenaline hooks today, and adrenaline circle hooks, and he says, he hooked a marlin a while ago on one of those things on his KP. And I said, he landed, and I said, no, half an hour he gave up.
Yeah.
But how do you handle big fish on something you can only pretty much palm?
Yeah.
So the guys have come up with some techniques. Some use, what is Neil saying, some hose pipe maybe?
Yeah, or so what they're doing on the side of a little shaft that runs with a bracket that runs up there, a little bit of rubber. So what do you do? So when it's obviously in free spool mode, little piece, and when you want to put a drag on, they push it down. It'll push against the spool there. Just slow the reel down to help it on slightly.
So this guy, it sounds like on the side of his boat, he's literally glued on a piece of rubber,
like a rubber mat.
And as his big fish go, he's literally zzz, zzz, to slow them down.
I've seen also some of the guys even just like it's old. I don't know if it's a tractor tube or something like that. They pretty much made a glove out of it.
Yeah,
same sort of story.
My earliest exposure to them though was Port St. John's. The guys in the old days, the mouth used to run straight out, and they swim liveys out in balloons, and they used to run the big KPs.
Yeah.
Purely mono in those days, but these things held like 1,000 meters of mono, so you could really load them up. And they used to, when they hooked a big cob, and we're talking like 50, 60 kg cob,
big fish,
they used to use their hats to.
Oh, yes. And
that's where the smoky also came into it a lot of the time. But probably the most interesting story, and maybe I shouldn't mention the oak's name, but one of our deep sea legends who got a 50 kg copper in his life.
Yeah.
Sadly, no longer with us, but him and his mates launch out the harbour and they're going towards Cove Rock side a few years back. And he says to me they had their stop and they got their three rods out, the 3 mana, a couple of dops. 1 rod down, next rod down, next rod down. And he's those clap, and they're trying to hold, but it's like, we got hold.
Yeah.
And they're looking at each other thinking, what the heck have they got into? A shoal of what? And about 100 meters behind the boat, poof, up reaches this whale. They'd all hooked the whale's tail.
Oh, my soul.
So you see half.
That's a whale's, that's a real whale.
That's a real whale's tail. So you see, can you picture 3 drunk guys on a boat trying to cut line very quickly?
Yeah, 100%.
I'd love to have seen that for real. That would have been super cool. But yeah, guys, I think the KP range, testament to handcrafted reels made in South Africa, proudly South African, massive part of our heritage. But then we get to the interesting part, and that's our brothers in KZN.
they're fishing with these things off the rock and surf.
They cast these
Blows
things,
my mind.
dude. They don't drop them with a boat. They cast these things. Okay, there are two ways of casting them.
The only way I know is backwards.
The way I know, you've got to face behind where you want to cast. So you face your back to the sea and you hoik it like that and you do. I don't know if you've ever thrown discus.
Yeah.
It's the same kind of concept as that. You whip it around. As it comes over your shoulder, you let it go.
You palm it.
And you're kind of watching it going, please don't bunch, please don't bunch. Yeah. But some of these guys are getting like 80...
No, they've worked out the art.
80, 100 meter casts on these things. They put bearings to them so they can spin faster, which is crazy. I know there's one local here, his church sponsors him. He's let's put it blunt, he's a subsistence fisherman at the bottom of the barrel. Yeah. And someone sponsored him a KP. Yeah. And he catches his blacktail, his silvers and that off the rocks. I probably gets about a 40, 50 meter cast. Yeah. But it's servicing him, eh? It's working. Year in, year out, no servicing.
You don't have to worry, you can drop it in the sand. Don't have to worry about it rusting on you.
So hats off. They've got a massive following amongst the guys. They're even throwing larvies, pretty heavy tackle. Yeah, correct. But they've also got a light tackle fraternity that loves them as well.
On the boat. Well,
that's on the boat or the river. Some of us who are really cheapskate have actually used these as fly fishing reels.
Yeah, we'll do the job.
Because most of the time, a fly reel, you tend not to have drag that really counts so much anyhow. They're super cheap, they're super light, and they're easy enough to palm. So, I mean, what's it retailing at? My eyes are really bad. But retailing it for a few $100, and you got yourself a solid reel that'll last a lifetime.
Correct.
And even the high-end ones are quarter the price of any of the reels you normally talk about.
So fishing 30, 40, 50 years on these reels.
And you're running it like $500. Yeah. So, tremendously reasonably fast. And, if you're on the deep sea game, fishing down Mossel Bay area and you still like your pens and your traditional reels and they're costing you a fortune and you're struggling to maintain them, consider switching over. Yeah. The Eastern Cape boys have proven these and they're catching monsters. We're talking 50 kg coppers, we're talking tuna, we're talking a daily basis.
Yeah, literally. I know, like years ago fishing Hamburg, there was probably a legendary fisherman, everyone that fished Hamburg, Peter Sumption. That's all he used to fish in the river with.
Yeah, I remember Peter.
Yeah, all he used to fish in the river. And he used to clap the cob on his... He used to have 4 of these things spin on his boat at the same time. He looked like a DJ there. So remember his rod used to lie like this and he used to sit like this and wind this one and wind this one. And that's when I first saw the cable tie trick. So you put cable ties, just to slow the reel down a bit.
Clack, 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 clack.
Yeah. And it sounds like, and you get a little bit of a ratchet out of it.
A bit of a ratchet out of it as well. So that's super cool. I think KP's got a very proud part of our South African heritage. Yeah. The very early Scarboroughs were actually ironically made out of solid wood.
Oh, great, really?
With some brass handles in it. Okay. You do see them around still.
Yeah, museum pieces.
Museum pieces. Most Oaks pubs or man caves have got some of those up. So I think KP's certainly got a heritage, but it's still a proven fishing heritage. So hats off to the boys. And I think we should all try to learn to cast a KP in our lifetimes. It's a good challenge. Maybe one of these days at our casting conference, have a KP casting session.
So I'm sure some of our viewers have fished the KP in your life before. So if you have fished the KP,
tell us how far you can cast.
Hit us in the comments. Let us know about your experience with the KP.
Your stories.
If it was funny, good, bad.
No, for sure.
If you don't like them, you like them. Just let us know. It'll be interesting to see.
And let us know how you get the bunches up, particularly the braid.
I know, like I went out to sea once, and the guy was like, I kept looking, so he just like wound it back twice. I tried out and made more of a mess.
Anyway. Last little tip Neil was saying to me, the little ring jobby. It looks like a finger ring. It's a ring in a little ring. Yeah. And the idea is you actually, when you're winding these babies up,
from left to right.
Okay, this last tip for using your KP probably. Don't fill it up all the way. Yeah. Because as we're inclined to do, as you're reeling up, if you're thinking of a multiplier reel in the old days, you can bunch up a bit on the one side. You don't want to overrun the spool. So that's one factor. But this ring allows you to easily just slide it left and right nice and smoothly, and also takes away any burn on your fingers. Great. So little cheap accessory, little stainless steel ring. We have them in stock. Chat to the boys. At Pulmoria, we stock the entire KP range. All the handles, all the goodies. So gladly chat to us and check out online. Good to KP.
Cool. Fantastic, guys. Well, anyway, thanks for joining us for Throwback Thursday.
And hopefully next time we look at some multipliers.
We'll look at I'm going to go get stuck into my cupboard and probably tomorrow night.
There's winds of a 2040.
2040.
I think a slosh room has ever chatted about it.
I'm going to not pronounce it correctly again. Poloskanski.
That's close enough.
Yeah, that one, Poloskanski. So I'm going to get those to Andrew so he can do his homework and all his jobs.
I think a slosh certainly has to be there.
Yeah, no,
Daiwa
100%.
SL50 SH.
You know what I thought about something today? I've actually got one lying somewhere, a little Abimatic. Remember the little Abimatics?
Oh, yeah. I love mine. I had a 5-star. I fished with it for years,
you had
dude.
the good one. Anyway, so I'm going to go pull that out the cupboard.
And one died, but yeah, no, died.
Anyway, guys, thanks for joining us once again this evening, delving into the world of KP Reels.
Yeah.
So don't forget, if you've got any nice stories orientated with KP, please hit us in the comments, let us know, and we will get back to you and have a laugh or a high five with you guys. Anyway, guys, until next week, thanks for joining us. Dean from Untraceable Fishing here once again with Don from Bull Moria Fishing Tackle. Until next week, cheers.
Cheers, guys.